Between us all here, the team on this channel have more than 40 years of experience driving electric and plug-in vehicles, ranging from brand new expensive luxury cars through to DIY projects and mainstream mass-market vehicles, as well as limited production prototypes and even rare museum pieces. And as such, we sometimes forget the things that we take for granted are still unusual and strange to people new to plugging in. But at one point, we too were all first-time owners and we had to rely on the knowledge of those who went before us to help build our confidence in our new vehicles, learn what was okay and what wasn't, and enjoy our journey forwards without ever having to worry about pumping gas again. While we can't answer every email and direct message we get from our audience, we do try and read them all, and when there's a question that's frequently being asked by our audience, we try and do our best to answer it in a video. Today, we're doing just that, answering a question that's been popping up in Facebook groups, on forums, and yes, even our inbox. And it's got to do with strange noises emanating from people's electric cars. It all started last week when we started to see various posts on Chevrolet Bolt owners forums from first-time EV owners and existing owners alike, noting that their cars had started making the most horrendous noises when they were parked up. Some owners were concerned, having just had their Bolt EV's battery software updates carried out, and thought that the sudden noises emanating from underneath their cars' bonnets were indicative of there being some kind of major problem with their vehicle. And since the software update was to deal with a potential problem with the 2017 through 2019 Bolt EVs that could, under some circumstances, lead to a battery fire, you can't blame them for worrying. Other owners were concerned that their cars are malfunctioning. After all, how many cars just sit there parked up and suddenly start making a noise hours after they were last driven? But it wasn't just Bolt owners either. Winter has heard new Tesla owners asking eerily similar questions recently. How or why is their electric car, which has been parked up for hours, suddenly now making noises like this? The answer, you'll be pleased to know, is pretty simple. Your car is trying to keep itself cool. More specifically, it's keeping its battery pack cool. And right now, large swathes of the US and Canada, as well as Europe, are under extreme heat warnings. Extreme heat warnings that many people may not be used to, and that means that if you live somewhere that's getting very hot, which doesn't normally get hot, your car has to work to keep its battery pack cool, and you may have never encountered these unexpected noises before. So don't worry, it's okay to be concerned, but it's totally normal. Your car isn't about to blow up. The TLDR here is that most modern electric cars have an active thermal management system. These systems usually feature a cooling loop that pumps coolant around the battery pack, transferring heat energy out of the pack and into the coolant itself. Then it pumps that coolant into a radiator at the front of the vehicle, where the heat energy is expelled to the outside, the coolant is recooled, and then the whole process happens again. In some electric cars, the coolant for the battery pack is also sent to other power electronics in the car, such as the motor and the charging circuitry. It's one reason why, if you're parked up at a rapid charger, you might hear the same noise coming from underneath the bonnet on a really hot day while charging. I've even been known when rapid charging on extremely hot days to pop the bonnet to help some of that excess heat energy escape. The noise you're hearing from under the bonnet is most likely coming from an air compressor pump or a radiator fan, or both. And I'll be honest, the noise of that compressor can sometimes be a little disconcerting, as it might sound that there's something broken in there that needs attention, but no, that is the fairly normal noise that these AC units make. When you're driving your EV, these fans may regularly kick in and out on a hot summer day to keep your battery pack and drivetrain cool while you're driving along. But in all honesty, the noise of your roads, your radio, or your kids probably drown out this fan going at full blast. When the car is parked and you're outside though, that fan noise will seem louder and easier to notice. Why does the battery pack need cooling first? Well, that's pretty simple. While lithium-ion batteries are far more advanced than the lead-acid batteries of years ago in terms of the energy they can store and how long they can last, they, like us, prefer to operate within a fairly narrow temperature window. Too cold and they struggle to deliver energy out of the battery. Too hot and they can physically damage themselves. That will affect their ability to store charge over time. Most electric cars on the market today use some kind of thermal management system designed to keep the battery pack warm in winter and cool in summer. But for most electric cars used in most situations, that temperature range sits reasonably squarely into the normal everyday outdoor temperature range that most people in temperate climates experience. So usually, the majority of us don't hear our cars sounding like a jet taking off because the fans don't have to work that hard, unless the car is at a rapid charging station where there's already noise from the massive charging units, or we're on the road. This week though, when temperatures have touched triple digits Fahrenheit across a large part of the northern hemisphere, when the temperature in Celsius has started with a 3 or even a 4, well, that's about time the active thermal management systems kick in. And of course, because most cars are made of metal and that metal becomes a heat sink, soaking up all that lovely radiant heat from the sun on a hot day, even if outside temperatures are still okay, your car may be significantly warmer than that. And again, it will turn its fans on to keep the battery cool. As to those of you concerned about just having a Bolt EV software update and now the car's fans are whining full tilt when the car is parked, well, I'd suggest that the new Bolt EV software update is a little more conservative about battery temperatures and might be kicking in sooner than it once did. I've not seen evidence of that with my car, but I do know that both our Bolts here have turned their fans on a few times in the last few days because of the heat. In summary, if you hear your car's fans going on a really hot day, the car is doing what it's meant to do, keeping itself cool. If you hear the same on a cold winter day, it's doing the opposite, keeping itself warm. One final note, if you note your car doing this a lot, it's worth considering keeping your car plugged in to a charging station. Most electric cars on the market today with active thermal management can pull AC power from a charging station to keep their battery packs cool, preserving your car's state of charge for when you need it, driving along. Oh, and of course, keeping that battery pack active helps with one other thing. It means that your car can precondition from the mains before you leave. And that, frankly, is one of the best things about driving an electric car on a hot summer day. That's it for today. Please do hit subscribe and the bell if you haven't yet, as it does seem to stop YouTube from doing weird things with our content. And make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, Transport Evolved Take 2, and Transport Evolved Shorts. There are links below. Thanks on behalf of the entire TE crew go out to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month patrons, that's Andrew Martin, Guido Drahoa, Brophy Wolf, Anonymous Freak, Regine Fellows, Carl Hodgson, Gordon C, Paul Conway, Laura Sanborn, Anthony Coates, Denny Hyde, Sean Ueda and Tazla in the Gong, and our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Will Graylin and Ian. If you'd like to join the ranks of wonderful Patreon supporters or TE supporters, you'll find links below to Patreon, Bitcoin and Ko-fi. You can chat with the team in TE fans over at Discord, and if you'd like to buy some TE swag, just head to our Redbubble store. We still have our new Pride designs like this one in stock, and all proceeds from this month goes to the Trevor Project. So thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!